Hey, thank you for taking time to click on the video. My name is Jason. This is the third installment of my basics series, and the goal of this series is really to help the novice angler or a person who may have some interest in fishing but hasn't fished before get a basic understanding of the equipment that we use to go out there and enjoy the sport of fishing. The opinions that I express in my videos are purely my own, based upon my own experience and knowledge. And I'm always looking for new insight and new information myself. So if you have questions or a comment, please leave those down below and let's have a conversation about that. Now, the basic series is really designed to be just that, basic. And what we're going to talk about today is hooks. Now, for any of you all that fish like I do, you know that the topic of hooks could easily be an hour-long video. There are literally hundreds of different styles of hooks out there. They all have their own unique purpose. Well, their purpose is to catch the fish, but they all have their own unique design and their own application and work best for certain applications over other applications. But without getting long-winded into all of the different types of hooks out there, I'm going to go over some of the most common hooks that you're going to come across and their application. Now, one of the first hooks that I started using when I first got into fishing was just your standard bait keeper hook. Okay, now let's go over some basic hook identification. When you talk about hooks, this is the front of the hook, okay, the side with the point. This is the back of the hook, okay. Now, this would be known as the hook point. This is the hook barb. This is the hook bend. This is the hook shank, and this is the hook eye. Now, this is a bait keeper style hook, so it has some additional barbs on the back shank of the hook. Those barbs are designed to help hold the bait on the hook. Okay, what do you use this hook for? Well, as the name would imply, bait holder. Most of the time, if you're using a hook like this, you're fishing with live bait, something like a night crawler. When you thread that night crawler onto the hook, these extra barbs help hold that bait onto the shank of the hook. If it was a smooth shank hook, that bait could slide up and down a lot more, and the fish would be more likely to pull the bait off of your hook. Now, bait holder hooks also come snelled. What is snelled, you mean? Or what is snelled, you ask? Meaning they come with line already attached to them. It's normally 12 inches, and normally the line size and the hook size are matched by the manufacturer. Okay. They have a pre-tied loop in one end for easy connection, and they are tied with a knot known as a snell knot. Now again, you'll notice that this hook is much smaller than the hook I previously showed. It's hard to see. Okay. And that's because hooks come in different sizes. Now when you're dealing with bait hooks, for example, they're normally sized by number. And as the number gets larger, the hook size gets smaller. Kind of counterintuitive, I know. So you'll see that they're a size 6. This is a size 8. This is a size 10. So a size 10 hook is going to be smaller than a size 6 hook when you're dealing with bait holder hooks. Okay. Now there are other types of hooks out there as well. Okay, a lot of the lures that you'll see have what is known as a treble hook on them. A treble hook is basically 3 hooks welded together in the center to form one hook. So you have 3 points and 3 bends, 1 shank. That is a treble hook. Now sometimes you may use a treble hook to fish bait. If you're fishing for catfish, for example, you may see in the store that there's a treble hook that has a spring on it. That spring is to help hold baits like a dough bait or a bread type bait, where you smush that bait into a ball around the hook and into that spring and that helps it stay on that hook longer. I don't have any of those. I don't often fish with them. Some other types of hooks that you might see are going to be hooks that have extra bends. This hook is known as an EWG, or an offset extra wide gap. Okay, this is the gap of your hook. You'll notice that this hook's eye and point are not parallel. The point is above the eye, and that's due to the types of baits that you fish on a hook like this. Again, these hooks also come in different sizes. However, these hooks at this size are sized by aught. So this is a 4/0, this is a 3/0. Other types of hooks out there are hooks with keepers on them. This is a flipping hook with a different style bait keeper. Although it is called a bait keeper, I would not fish live bait on a hook like this. This hook is used to be fished with soft plastics, and I'll cover that in a techniques video. You have hooks with built-in weed guards. This is a hook that I use for fishing a wacky rig, and this one has a built-in weed guard, so that as it encounters weeds and brush, this lays down and helps that hook point slide without getting hooked. And it simply collapses when the fish bites that hook. You'll notice that the bend of this hook is specially shaped, and that again is for its application. You have hooks with extra weights attached to them, like an extra bling, we'll say. For example, this is an underspin hook, so it has a built-in weighted head. It has a different style of screw lock bait keeper, and it has an extra blade for extra flash that hangs down below. That is used in an application like this. You have hooks that simply have the lead on the front. This is a jig head type of hook. There are also specialized jig heads that have extra bling. And then different shaped heads for different applications. Additionally, you may see small hooks that have a unique shape to them because they have a very short shank. This is a short shank octopus hook. This hook is used for drop shotting. We also have a straight shank drop shot hook. Now you'll notice that hook looks a lot like a bait holder hook, and it would hold bait. However, you'll notice there are no barbs on the back of that shank. You have hooks with specialized jig heads on them for applications like shaky head fishing. This jig head is designed to stand up on the bottom. Shaped differently for coming through cover differently. Rock versus wood. So as you can see, overwhelming amount of options. Now, if I was going to pick you up tomorrow and we were just going to go out and do some fishing, you'd probably see me show up with some bait holder hooks. And that's what I recommend for you. Let's not get crazy with trying to buy lures and everything right now. You can put a worm on a hook, hook it up to your rod, and throw it out there and catch fish. And that's what I'd recommend. Go with a size 8, Size 8's a really good general size on your hooks. That is like this. And that'll help with panfish, trout, things. If you're fishing for a little bit bigger fish, maybe bass or larger walleye, you can go up to a size 6 or a size 4. Just match your hook to the bait that you're using, whether that's a little minnow or a big night crawler, and you'll find success. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for more. Keep fishing.